Yo guys, welcome to football news. Again, for my Patreon members, this will go out as the Football Hot podcast. If again, you're like a Patreon member subscriber, you'll get this podcast given to you that you can download for your listening pleasure. But for all of you guys out there, good day, good evening, how are you? How are you doing? So this really is a case of where I pretty much just run down the latest news, and I think this is really, going through Twitter and just see what are the burning issues that I want to pretty much talk about. So for this edition, we're going to be riding with three topics here. So I think I'll go into the main topic, and this is something that I actually wanted to talk about yesterday, and this is the fight, milk thrown at people. So Manchester Derby, Man City, they go and they pimp slap United psychologically at Old Trafford. After the game, City are obviously they're ecstatic, they're happy, they're blaring their music, they are cheering, they're shouting in their dressing room. Then Mourinho comes in and he says that, guys, can you please relax and just sort of mute your celebrations. Which doesn't really make too much sense, because Mourinho, we all remember what he did back in 2010 when he was celebrating in front of the fans, and Vouches had to hold it down in the semi-final against Barcelona when he were Inter Milan. But we let that slide, and again, there was nothing wrong with that. So it just seems a bit hypocritical that he'd be having issues with that when he did that back in 2010. But then he got shouted at, and mainly by Edison, who was shouting at him in Portuguese. And apparently, I think it was Edison or somebody threw milk at him, and then some stuff was thrown towards Arteta that he had a bleeding nose and everything. And we're not hearing that prior to that, a lot of the City players were actually throwing jabs at Ibrahimovic, saying that, oh, you talk a lot, but you can't really back it up. So again, this really definitely, first of all, it shows that when City faced United at the Etihad, this would definitely boil over. And it's very similar to the whole Arsenal United, where pizza was apparently thrown at Ferguson, and that was really the tipping point that really developed into what was a very heated rivalry between those two sides. The Roy Keane captain United and the Patrick Vieira captain Arsenal. So again, I just feel like this is definitely going to be it's going to definitely be a very deep rivalry that you're going to be seeing here with these two people, because I just feel like if something definitely happened, we don't know how much of this is true, but so many of the sources have similar stories to say that something very crazy definitely did happen in that tournament. The fact that the police and the FA have been asked to investigate, and Guardiola and people have said, well, nothing really happened, but some stuff happened, but it wasn't really as crazy as people say. It means that stuff went down. This is about Mourinho. This is mainly 100% about Mourinho. Because again, it's about, for Mourinho, why is this really bothering you? Because this is the same thing that he did when he got totally shipwrecked by Chelsea 4-0. And he was telling to the country that, oh no, please, can you not really celebrate like that at Stamford Bridge? So I think for Mourinho, it's like, this was a huge victory for Man City. Massive. A massive victory for these boys, that they are 11 points clear. They're flipping 11 points clear. They totally outclassed you. They totally outplayed you. It's the Manchester Derby. My goodness. The least that they can do is cheer and blast out huge music. The least that they can do is blast out Britney Spears and start doing the flipping hula hoop. I mean, it's like, come on, man. I mean, so for Mourinho even doing that, it is just crazy. Hence why I think they would have actually reacted like that, because for the City players that have been like, wait a minute. You're going to try and tell us to not celebrate too much? Really? I mean, at the end of the day, I think this is the key. Mourinho should have been more worried about speaking to his players and really trying to sort out where Lukaku was such a brick, why they were so defensive and how they can recover from this. He shouldn't be the fact that he went into that dressing room meant that he's not really grasped the fact that his team didn't do enough on the football pitch, and Herrera should have gotten a penalty. City players were they diving, or City were lucky they got 2 lucky goals. We all saw them the match. So this stunts by Mourinho, it doesn't help Mourinho, and it doesn't help Man United, and it doesn't help Lukaku get out of a very rough patch that he's in. It just doesn't help, because for Mourinho, you understand, like, whenever you have a certain group of players, you have to understand that dynamic of the group of players. Like, the actions you're doing can work for your Inter Milan team or for your Chelsea team, who had grown men in those teams and had a very lot of strong characters and personalities. A lot of the best players at this United team are young guys, i.e. Martial, Rashford, Lingard, Lukaku. These are all guys that are sub 25. So they've not been able to match it enough to have strong personalities of a 28, 29, 30, 31 year old. So these tactics that you're doing may not really work with a young team. For a young team, it may actually really affect them if you're getting involved in brawls, you're blaming other people, you're not really doing much to really coach and get the best out of this place. So, that's why I said to myself that, for this Mourinho thing, he may have hit a real brick wall in his career. So, yeah, man, all good for City, all bad for United. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is this Toni Kroos. Now, Toni Kroos, he was doing a Q&A on Twitter where he asked a lot of questions. I think Toni Kroos, he seems like he's got a very interesting personality from how he does his tweets. And one question he was asked was, who was better out of Scholes, Gerrard, and Lampard? And I think, this has been like a thing that was going on whenever they were playing, like, oh, is Lampard the best? Is just Gerrard the best? What about Scholes? And people didn't even put Scholes in that category. People were talking about, no, it's all about Lampard or Gerrard. So you're either in the Gerrard camp or you're either in the Lampard camp. But then Toni Kroos, he answered and he said it was Scholes. That he would put Scholes ahead of Lampard and Gerrard. And I remember this was asked, and I remember my answer when they were all playing. And I said to myself that for me, if I was to pick a midfield out of all of those three, it would 100% be Paul Scholes. Because Scholes, I feel that I'd have more confidence in him coming into my system and still doing what he does. Whereas for Gerrard, I'm like, am I sure he will still be Gerrard in my system? I'm not sure that Lampard will still be Lampard in my system. And I just thought that, Scholes, his playing style and just his footballing ability and what he was able to do with the ball and the kind of engine that he was, for me, I just felt like as far as a central midfielder and a football-playing central midfielder, I just feel that Scholes was superior to Lampard and Gerrard. I think for Lampard and Gerrard, they had very good qualities. Like, they had very specific attributes and qualities that they had. Whether you want to say Lampard's goal scoring, Gerrard's long-range passing, or long-range shooting. But I think for Scholes, even when you look at for dribbling, passing, shooting, creativity, movement of the ball, command of the midfield, a footballing brain, 2020 vision, he had all of those stuff, all of a nice high level. So that's why I believe that 100% I would put Scholes ahead of both Lampard and Gerrard, and I keep saying to people that, if Lampard and Gerrard were that good, why didn't they do it internationally? And is it really right for you to blame it on the coach? I mean, it's okay. Wait, what about Scholes as well? But still, the fact of the matter is that Lampard and Gerrard were always held in high estimation. And for me, they were good players. They were very good players. But for me, I would never call them elite players. Even them at their heights, they never even sniffed the stratosphere of what Xabi did or of what Andrea Pirlo did. Guys who they were playing in the same generation, like Andrea Pirlo and Xabi were on a whole different stratosphere to Lampard and Lampard and Gerrard were not in the same existence as Xabi and Pirlo. So, but the fact is that there are people who talk of Lampard and Gerrard in the same breath as a Xabi and a Pirlo. Scholes, I don't think, was in the level of a champion Pirlo, but he wasn't that far off. He was not that far off. As in, he was like, teetering around that area, but just not that far off. So, but I think 100%. Again, tell me what you think. Scholes, Lampard, or Gerrard. For me, I'm picking Scholes. I'm picking Scholes. So last thing, Maradona, Armando. So Armando was in India, and while in India, people were obviously, he's a global icon. People love him all around the world, and they got a statue built of him. You see, for me, like, what? With these statues, look, it's going to be pretty hard to flip into like a likeness that's fully like the guy that you're making, and maybe because I'm losing my eyesight, okay, nothing serious, but again, I don't have that great eyesight, but I refuse to wear glasses. That's why I wear shades. But again, people have been mocking it. And people have been reminded about the Cristiano Ronaldo statue, and they've been putting it side by side, the Cristiano statue and the Maradona statue, and just say, these are, one of the worst statues ever built. I think for the Maradona statue, it's like, look, it's not, I can see some Maradona in there, but as people have said, I can also see some Susan and Boyle. Go look up Susan and Boyle, and then you'll be like, oh wow, yeah, maybe they were going for a Susan and Boyle, Maradona kind of mashup. But I think, look, at the end of the day, you've built a statue of him. It's a great honor for a statue to be built of yourself. I think instead of saying that, picking at, oh no, it's not like that. I think it's the act. The act is all that really matters. The very act of a statue being built of you in India, as in, what the hell does Argentina have to do with India? But the very fact that all the way in India, they felt the need and they've taken the time to actually build a statue of your likeness shows what you achieved. 100%, it just showed what you achieved going forward. But yeah, man, I look, just a flipping statue. So guys, that's just the news that I have for today. I'm hoping to make this a daily occurrence where I just pick out 2, 3, or 4 news stories that I see on social media or on the news webs, and I'm just gonna talk about it. So peace out. Stay true and stay black. Thank you for watching this video. Think about pledging and become a Half Football Hot patron. Pledge an amount each month and gain access to exclusive videos from your boy, the Football Hot, for more analysis. Peace.